Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's me, Nathan Cox, Nate Cox, whatever you want to call me. I'm just doing a video update, I guess a semi-complete, detailed story, or my version, whatever you want to call it, of what happened to me earlier with the Virginia State Police. And yes, I have a sign behind me that says, "Police speed trap ahead," that I carry in my trunk to warn other motorists of these thugs trying to extort money out of people. Anyway, so where do I begin? Alright, so I got done working at about 2:30. I was headed home. I was a mile away from my exit, and I noticed, and I was on the phone with Amy Strong, who was in the Liberty Movement, and I noticed a bunch of cops on the interstate. At least two of them had pulled over some poor person being victimized by the police, and there was at least two on the right shoulder, and then strangely enough there was another cop in the left shoulder right adjacent from that traffic stop. Not really too sure why they thought that there needed to be 3 cop cars for a traffic stop, but whatever. It's the state police, and all they do is intimidate people. So I passed that, and as I passed, I noticed somebody, I can't remember which officer it was, just staring me down. Or either my car, I don't know which one. So I drove by I passed the Pole Green Road exit, which was just after where I saw this police stop. I passed Pole Green Road exit, and the next thing I know, a black unmarked Dodge Charger, Virginia State Police, that Charger, along with all the other police cruisers and armored vehicles and guns and ammo, etc., which was paid for by taxpayer money, which was essentially stolen from your income to use against you. I hope you realize that. Anyway, so I pulled, the cop came flying up next to me. Or the cop, I didn't know it was a male or female at the time. The cop went by me just enough to see my state inspection sticker on my car. Which, yes, here in Virginia, we're a police state. We're Big Brother, and you have to have not only do you have to have 2 license plates on your vehicle, front and rear, but you have to have your vehicle inspected every year to make sure it's safe to drive and it's safe from harming any other motorists. So anyway, mine expired March 1st, and I'm well aware of it. I really didn't care. My car is as safe as I am. Coincidentally enough, I had planned on getting it inspected this coming up week because I'm trying to sell my car. So anyway, those are all details that were really irrelevant, but as soon as she saw the inspection sticker and the lack of front license plate, she blue lighted me and pulled me over. I didn't initially pull over right away like a lot of cops, want. I pulled over a couple thousand feet after she blue lighted me, maybe 1/8 of a mile at very most. I got pulled over, which was kind of funny, and I pointed out in the video, kind of diagonal from where I got pulled over, where cops frequently sit right before the Mechanicsville Turnpike exit on 295, there were 2 cop cars there. So not only were there 3 cop cars behind me doing a traffic stop, no more than a quarter mile back, but there was 2 more right where I got pulled over. So anyway, the cop pulled me over, and she, as you can see in the video, she wanted me to get out of my car. She claimed that I was doing something in my car that might have been a threat. Anyway, so she pulls me over. She tells me to get out of the car. I'm at the moment she steps up to my car, I'm trying to get my camera. I realize I don't have my camera that I usually record cops with, so I pulled out my phone, and I start recording right when she opens up the door. I ask her, why am I getting out of the car? Why am I being treated this way? I ended up getting out of the car with video rolling, as you can see in the video. She literally attacks me. You know, she doesn't leave any bruises or anything like that, as far as I know. But she places her hands on me quite a bit, trying to steal my property, my cell phone. She didn't want to be recorded, apparently, for whatever reason, whether she was ashamed of what she was doing, or I'm not sure why. I sadly to say, I complied. And probably will not do that anymore. Lesson learned there. I should have just risked the arrest, and then if I got arrested for it, or a ticket for that, maybe failure to obey a law enforcement officer, then I would have fought that in court, obviously. Anyway, so I get pulled over. She molests me, trying to grab my cell phone, and you can see the rest on video. What I want to talk about is what you can't see on video. After the cop goes back to her car to issue me my summons or citation, 3 cops overwatched me and guarded me behind my car, and I was pretty heated. I was very upset that I was being treated the way that I was. I've been pulled over dozens of times throughout my life, and I think this is only the second time that I've been asked or told to get out of my car. The first time was actually at gunpoint, guns drawn, multiple guns drawn, because they thought that apparently somebody called due to a shots fired, and my car was the last one from the leaving from the scene. Turns out it was just fireworks. That was a long time ago. So what you can't see in the video is me pleading with the officers to use discretion, to use their common sense, to use their conscience on what they are doing to people as they go about their job. I told them I wanted to talk to their supervisor. One of the cops wrote down on a piece of paper the dispatch number. That's not a supervisor number. I didn't really realize that's what it was, but I've already called it, and I'm waiting to hear back from the supervisor now. But I told the cop, I said, listen, can I have your business card, please? I want to be able to identify you when if I want to, subpoena you as a witness for my trial. And he said that he would give me a business card, but I did not have his permission to put his information on the internet. And I told him I didn't need his permission to put his information on the internet, and he did not give me his business card. So I asked him if he'd at least write down his badge number and last name on the same piece of paper that he wrote the other information on, and he refused to do that, along with the other 2 officers. He said that his job is dangerous, and that he has a family and that he wants to protect, and he doesn't want his information out there. And I asked him, I said, sir, are you ashamed of what you do? And he said no. And of course they use the old cliche, oh, we're just doing our jobs, we're just enforcing the laws. So I turned and asked one of them, sir, if there were still Jim Crow laws in the books today, if it was illegal for a black person to use the public restroom or public bus, would you arrest him? Would you enforce those laws? And this Virginia State Trooper told me that he would, and that's sad to say. I told him that he should be ashamed of himself, and that I wish he would use his conscience, but he apparently that was seared during his Virginia State Police training. During the 10 or 15 minutes I was waiting for the lady to write a ticket, or the 2 tickets that I got, I was pretty much, pleading with these people to use discretion, to wake up, to realize. I told them, I said, listen, you took the same oath that I did. I took the oath to uphold and defend the Constitution from foreign and domestic enemies when I joined the Army in '06. And they took the same, if not a very similar oath, to defend and uphold the Constitution. I told them, I said, listen, not to say that these particular 2 violations were unconstitutional, but I just threw out there, I told them, listen, you need to use, your oath supersedes any of these laws that are passed. Because there have been many laws that have been passed that have already been deemed by judges across the United States that they have been unconstitutional. But for whatever reason, these cops continue to not only break their oath to the Constitution, but they continue to uphold these illegal laws. They don't care. They do what they're told. They blindly follow their orders. So that's about it. The video is already long enough, and I'm probably not going to fucking use it. So I continuously ask these cops, you know, where's the victim? Whose property rights have I violated? Who have I harmed? Whose human rights have I violated? They could not identify anybody. They just said that they were upholding the law. The lady said that she thought that my cell phone could have been a gun in disguise. Even though she acknowledged what it was, she still insinuated or implied that it could be a gun. I continuously told them that they were the ones that had the guns, that they were the ones that, you know, go around making threats to people, that they're the ones that go around kidnapping and extorting money out of people. I tried to fill their ear with truth and reason as much as I could while I was in their presence. But after the lady issued me my tickets, she tried to fill my ear with some crap, and I wouldn't have it, and I just interrupted her, and I said, am I free to go? And she said yes, so I moved on by her, and proceeded to grab my property on the back of my trunk, which was my wallet, my cell phone, which the police officer had knocked over intentionally on my trunk, and I pleaded with them to get it off the trunk because my car was on. It was very, very, very hot to touch because it's a black car, and it was very hot out this afternoon. And I told them, I said, listen, if my phone, I said, are you going to be responsible for it if it gets so hot that it melts down or what, has some sort of defect? Oh, no, of course not. No, I'm not responsible for it, even though you're the prick who touched it and made it so it wouldn't film y'all. Anyway, so I got my camera. As soon as I realized that it wasn't recording anymore, I quickly turned it on because I wanted to capture all the police that had showed up to the scene. So I turned it on. I took a quick, about 13 second video of the 4 cop cars that were on the scene. And of course, as you can see in the video, the lady didn't like that either. And she went so far to say that if I didn't get in my car right now, that she would issue me a citation for being a pedestrian on a highway. Sounds like just another way to generate revenue to me. Question. If my car breaks down, or my grandmother's car breaks down on the highway, and she has to walk from point A to point B, now she has been criminalized for having to do that. Here in the good old land of the free, home of the slave. Anyway, that's a wrap. I'm going to write up a blog about it, and I just want to tell people and encourage people to stand up for your rights. If you aren't familiar with copblock.org or virginiacopblock.org, check us out. We're all about holding the police accountable. We're trying to educate people on their rights, especially when encountered by the police. And we're all about filming the police because that's the only line of defense that you have against those people. It's the only line of defense, and it's the only way that we can really hold them accountable. When she gave me my tickets, she tried to say, well, your license came up that you had a concealed weapons permit, and you could have had your gun on you, and you could have been in a bad mood and used it, she said. And I said, really? I said, okay. I said, you're the one with the gun. It's your colleagues here with the guns. There are thousands of YouTube videos of your colleagues, other law enforcement officers on the internet, whether they had a bad day or not, killing innocent people. I think it's the police that are the threat to this society. The police are the ones that initiate force that initiate violence, that initiate aggression against peaceful people. And until they realize that, until more and more people actually give a crap about what's happening to them, things aren't going to change. But the thing is, people are waking up. People are sick and tired of the police state that we're living in, and they're sick and tired of how the police have been militarized. Because the police have literally been militarized. I was spent 14 months in Baghdad, and I tell you what, the way the police operate here in the United States is the same way the military, the United States military, operates in Baghdad and Iraq. It's disgusting. The police were supposed to, be there to serve and protect, and all they do is serve and protect lobbyists and lawmakers. They used to be called peace officers, but all they do now is break the people's peace. They go around extorting money out of people, kidnapping people, and using your tax dollars that's taken from you to do it. I want to know, how do you feel about that? Do you think that'll compel you enough to stop paying property taxes, to refuse to comply, to pay for those services that are used against you? I'm calling for a property tax resistance. The government has a monopoly on services like security or protection. And I tell you what, this is the last year, mark my word, this is the last year that I'm paying property tax. Because I am not paying for my own demise anymore. I am sick and tired of my money that's being stolen from me, being used against me. And I hope and pray that more and more people will realize this. Peace.